But I must detain you no longer. He said, you are engaged. I can see an important word. It was just that being in this neighborhood, I could not help paying my respects. Years pass, but you, I see, have lost none of your vigor, of your enjoyment of life. Well, perhaps you may say so. Anyway, you mustn't pay me too much compliments. And surely you'll stay and have tea. I'm sure Mary will give you some tea. He looked around. Oh, she's gone away. Nice girl. Yes, indeed, and very handsome. I expect she has been a great comfort to you for many years. Oh, they've only married recently. She's my nephew's second wife. I'll be frank with you. I've never cared very much for this nephew of mine, Andrew. Not a steeply chap, always restless. His elder brother Simon was my favorite. Not that I knew him well either. As for Andrew, he behaved very badly to his first wife. Went off, you know. I left her high and dry. Went off with a thoroughly bad lot. Everybody knew about her, but he was infatuated with her. The whole thing broke up in a year or two. Silly fellow. The girl he's married seems all right. Nothing wrong with her, as far as I know. Now Simon was a steady, sharp, damn dull, though I can't say I like it when my sister married into that family. Marrying into a trade, you know. Rich, of course, but money isn't everything. With usually married into the services. I never saw much of that restaurant lot. They have, I believe, a daughter. A friend of mine met her last week. Oh, Norma, silly girl. Goes about in dreadful clothes and have picked up with a dreadful young man. And well, they are all alike nowadays. Long-haired young fellows, beatniks, beetles, all sorts of names they've got. I can't keep up with them. Particularly talk a foreign language. Still nobody caters to hear an old man's criticisms. So there we are. Even Mary, I always thought she was a good, sensible sort, but as far as I can see, she can be thoroughly hysterical in some ways, mainly about her health. Some fuss about going to hospital for observation or something. What about drink? Whiskey, you know? Sure you won't stop and have a drop of tea? Thank you, but I'm staying with friends. Well, I must say I have enjoyed this chat with you very much. Nice to remember some of the things that happened in the old days. Sonia, dear, perhaps you'll take Marcia? Sorry, what's your name? It's gone again. Yeah, Porritt. Take him down to Mary, will you? No, Hercule Poirot hastily waved aside the offer. I could not dream of troubling Madame any more. I am quite all right. I can find my way perfectly. It has been a great pleasure to meet you again. He left the room. Having the faintest idea who that chap was, said Sir Ratcliffe after Poirot had gone. You do not know who he was? Sonia asked, looking at him in a startled manner. Personally, I don't remember who half the people are who come up and talk to me nowadays. Of course, I have to make a good shot at it. One learns to get away with that. You know, some things at parties. Up comes a chap and says, perhaps you don't remember me. I last saw you in 1939. I have to say, of course I remember, but I don't. It's a handicap being nearly blind deaf. We got Polly with a lot of thoughts like that, perhaps the end of the war. Don't remember half of them. Oh, he'd been there all night, all right. He knew me, and I knew a good many of the chaps he talked about. That story about me and the stolen cat, that was true enough, exaggerated a bit, of course. They made a pretty good story of it at the time. Well, I don't think he knew I didn't remember him. Clever chap. I don't think he knew I didn't remember him. Clever chap, I should say. But I follow flock, isn't he? You know, mincing and dancing and bowing and scraping. Now then, where were we? Shirley picked up a letter and handed it to him. She tentatively proffered a pair of spectacles, which he immediately rejected. Don't want these damn things, I can see all right. He screwed up his eyes and peered down at the letter he was holding. Then he capitulated and thrust it back into her hands. Well, perhaps you better read it to me. She started reading it in her clear, soft voice.